You ever wake up thinking it's just another morning only to find out a whole HOA tried to colonize your life? Yeah, that happened. I'll tell you, I've seen some things out here on this old farm, tornadoes, politicians, and my Uncle Dale wrestling a pig at a family reunion. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the circus that rolled up one August morning right over my family's roots and right through every bit of decency I thought still existed. I was standing in my kitchen, sun barely up, coffee black as boot polish, just how I like it, when my phone buzzed with a number from Kentucky. Figured it was another robocall or maybe one of those your car warranties about to expire scams. But this time it was weirder. Some chirpy text. Good morning, we're already at the farm. Could you open the north gate? GPS says the entrance is on that side. I just blinked at my phone. The farm. My farm, I hadn't scheduled a single soul. This isn't a museum, it's not a bed and breakfast, and it damn sure isn't an amusement park. I tossed on my boots, grabbed my keys, and out of habit the old shotgun that sits behind the truck seat, and rumbled out on the ATV to see what kind of mess was brewing. Now I knew something was off the second I hit the crest of the cornfield hill. It looked like the state fair had parked on my property, SUVs, minivans, even a coach bus shining in the early sun. Folks unloading coolers and folding chairs, kids scrambling up my split-rail fence like it was a jungle gym, and no kidding, people snapping selfies in front of the old grist mill. A picnic blanket was stretched right over my great-granddad's stone foundation like it was some kind of Airbnb experience. And then I saw it, a laminated sign zip-tied to my gate, private HOA meeting reserved. Authorized access only. Let me back up a sec. This land, it's been in my family since Lincoln was laid in the ground. Every plank, every stone, my people bled for this place. And here's a group of strangers treating it like a backdrop for Instagram. So I did what any modern farmer does. I hit record on my phone. This is Travis Malone Historical Farm Family Estate since 1865. What you're looking at is unauthorized trespass. I called the sheriff. No, ma'am, I did not invite a damn convention. Then I stomped over and let the crowd know loud and clear, you're trespassing on a federally registered historic site. Time to turn around, folks. Some froze. Others acted like they'd wandered into the wrong potluck. One lady in a floppy sun hat piped up, is this not the community unity meeting? I said it's not, and it sure as hell isn't your community. I started noticing printed programs like they were at Disneyland. I yanked one off a folding table parked under my walnut tree. Stonewood Grove HOA Unity Gathering curated by Karen Stafford. My blood pressure nearly ruptured my spine. Karen. Of course, it was Karen, HOA president, queen of the cookie-cutter boxes across the ridge. She'd suggested I let them partner up, turn my farm into some cultural petting zoo. I'd said no twice. So this time she just skipped the asking and went straight to trespassing. I filmed everything, made sure every license plate and face was recorded. I yelled out, if you've already stepped foot past this gate, you're on camera. Your car's recorded. The sheriff can sort you out. Some folks hustled back to their cars, a few acted like they hadn't heard a thing, and one guy just kept eating his trail mix. I stayed calm. I wasn't about to wave my shotgun or lose my cool. The land seemed worse, but this felt different. It felt personal. Karen had just declared war. 15 minutes later, the crowd started to thin. Some scared off, others still acting like it was all a big mix-up. That's when a black BMW X5 rolled up, tires crunching gravel. Out stepped Karen, looking like she'd just walked out of a real estate ad, pristine slacks, coral blouse, sunglasses, and that condescending half smile. Two assistants followed, all clipboards and Bluetooth earpieces like we were on some bad reality show. She didn't even glance my way at first, just started waving to her crowd like a homecoming queen. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. You ever seen entitlement move in slow motion? That was it. She finally looked at me. Mr. Malone, glad to see you. I hoped you'd meet the community. Didn't invite them? Karen, I said. She let out a little laugh. Travis, you knew about the gathering. No, Karen, I didn't. And I need everyone off my land. Now. She pulled out some sheet of paper, said it was county permission for a registered cultural event. I looked it over. Fancy logo, official sounding language, even a seal? Except the seal was fake. Wrong shade, wrong font, PowerPoint level forgery. I handed it back. You forged this. She pursed her lips. That's a serious accusation. I just shrugged. So is breaking and entering. She stepped in close, a voice lowered, trying to sell it like I was being unreasonable. We're not enemies, Travis. The HOA uplifts the whole area heritage tourism development. You could make something amazing here if you'd let go of this rugged individualist fantasy. I just stared at her, wondering if she'd ever really worked a day outside an office. Then she played her ace. We've been in contact with the county's heritage liaison. We had an understanding. I wanted to laugh. You mean you convinced a clerk to look the other way? That's not permission. That's a lie. She looked at me like I was the one being ridiculous. You just don't get it, Travis. There's a bigger vision here. Gardens, concerts, renovations, a real destination. You mean make it yours? I shot back loud enough for everyone to hear. The air changed. Her assistants fidgeted. People started murmuring. That's when the sirens showed up. 2 sheriff's cruisers, lights flashing, no hurry. Karen tried to charm them. We were told we could use this property. The deputy didn't even blink. Ma'am, we'll need statements from everyone here. Please step aside. She spun toward me, hissed, You really want to escalate this? I grinned. No, Karen. You already did. The officers took names, collected IDs, and asked for that forged letter. One woman, still nursing a sprained ankle from my porch, shot Karen a look that could have killed. Her assistants tried to blend into the crowd. Once the cruisers rolled out, everyone scattered, some embarrassed, some grumbling, a few still playing the victim. Karen left without looking at me, her whole aura deflated, but her retreat didn't feel like a win, more like a warning shot. After the dust settled, I found the damage: a split fence, a snapped porch rail, my grandfather's chiseled post, gouged initials carved into the barn, and a neon green spray-painted hashtag HOA life. You know what I mean? That burns deeper than any argument. This farm survived wars, drought, and bank threats, but now HOA tourists thought they could tag it like a bathroom stall. If they wanted 21st century war, they'd get it. I filmed everything, posted to YouTube, TikTok. Laid out the story, every clip, every trespass. By noon, my phone was blowing up 10,000 views, 100,000 comments from all over. Sue them. Make them pay for every splinter. Even my niece texted Uncle T, You're trending. Karen fired back, spinning her own story, mass emails, Facebook posts, calling my land public, blaming me for blocking cultural progress. Moms in local Facebook groups split sides, some with her, most with me. Then the community magazine chimed in, Historic farm owner refuses collaboration, refused access to my own porch. Yeah, right. Offers started rolling, and a lawyer from Ohio, ranchers from Texas, even a guy from New York wanting to design merch. I didn't want a movement, but apparently people were hungry for one. Then came the twist. A young guy named Dan Herbert claimed he was a grad student doing a thesis on rural legacy farms, wanted to help document the history. I was wary, kept the cameras on. Dan was all questions, photos, but his questions got weird, asking about firearms, insurance, security. When he left his phone in the shed, I peeked a draft email to K. Stafford, subject entry successful. Interior photos attached. They sent a spy. I posted footage, no rant, just facts. The internet lost its mind. Even HOA members from other states called it out as a new low. My inbox flooded with legal offers. Karen, meanwhile, said nothing. Her mask had finally slipped. The day I filed the lawsuit, I walked into the courthouse with a stack of evidence thicker than the Sunday paper. Criminal trespass, civil trespass, damage to historic property, misrepresentation, unauthorized use, and public endangerment. Every charge nailed right to Karen's front door. My lawyer, Eli, a retired litigator with a bite, practically cheered. We didn't just aim for the throat, we went for the spine. That night I got a voicemail from a county liaison, Edward Jameson, asking me to clarify a few details. Turns out he'd been the backdoor fixer giving Karen those so-called oral authorizations. I sent his name to a paralegal on YouTube. Within a day, she uncovered missing grant money, flagged audits, and a whole mess of dirty hands. Then the real unraveling: board members started leaking emails, budgets, internal messages. Karen had funded all this with a secret community culture slush fund. Residents started messaging me apologies, confessions, even handwritten letters slipped under my gate. Local news picked up the lawsuit, HOA funds, forged letters, a county official under ethics review. Karen tried to go live on Facebook. Someone commented, "You faked a county letter, Karen. That's not confusion, that's a felony." She logged off in 3 minutes flat. 3 board members resigned. The county put Jameson on unpaid leave. Karen was drowning but still wouldn't admit it. The court finally forced her hand, subpoenaed 3 years of financial records. Now the whole HOA couldn't lie, couldn't spin, couldn't run. Then the hammer dropped. State investigators showed up serving a search warrant on the HOA office. Within hours, Karen Stafford was escorted off her own lawn, not handcuffed, not crying, just hollow. TikTok caught it. HOA queen dethroned. Justice for the farm. The charges: forgery, misrepresentation, trespass, misappropriation, willful damage, even negligence for the woman's sprained ankle. That week, the HOA was put under audit. Their insurance dropped them. Karen's name scrubbed from every board. State heritage officers came out, assessed the damages over $850,000. The judge called it a staggering breach of public trust and private rights. The press ran wild. The governor's office issued a statement about citizen resilience. One night, Eli and I watched the restoration crew patch up the porch. "You ever think you'd be the face of rural justice?" he asked. I laughed. Thought I'd be the face of quiet living and good bourbon, but this'll do. Then came the real ending state, called offered full historic registry, status, restoration grants, even a plaque. The porch is whole again, the barn restored, graffiti gone. There's a sign now: Malone Farm, protected, respected, remembered. Now every Saturday I give tours, not for an HOA, not for profit, but for the people who want to hear the real story. I show them the Bible with all our names, the spot where the porch rail snapped, and tell them what happens when you let someone else write your narrative. After one tour, a young woman told me how her HOA fined her mom for wind chimes, said it was audible decor. We laughed, but the truth is, silence just means no one's listening yet. Karen took a plea deal, no jail, but lost her home, her licenses, her future in anything official. Last I heard, she moved to Florida. Of course, I kept her HOA sign, hung it in the outhouse. Fitting right. The farm's peaceful now, roots deeper than ever, the kind of peace that only comes after a storm that tried to rip you up but failed. I still wake up before dawn, drink my coffee, listen to the land. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It remembers. And now, so does everyone else. So tell me, where do you stand when someone tries to steal your story, your home, your legacy? Ever had to fight for something that mattered? Drop your thoughts below. And hey, if you think justice should always win out, hit that. Like, share your story and let the world know some things are worth protecting, no matter what it costs.